Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Today I am going to talk about how do you handle or how do you look at how do you analyze more than 4 planetary placements in the horoscope. So today I will be talking about if there are 4 planets in the horoscope in any particular house, then how do you look at how do you analyze the results of those 4 planets, and what are the things that you can do to use those energies better, and what you can do to avoid troublemaking planetary conjunctions or troublemaking planetary combinations which can occur because of 4 planetary placements. Now, first thing one needs to understand is that more benefics coming together is a great sign for a combination of energies, and scattering of malefic energy is much better, because if there is one person who is against you, it's easy to handle the person, but if 2 people come together, then they add their energies and their energy becomes exponential, especially with respect to malefic planets, because they are very, very powerful. So the more benefic planets come together in the horoscope, good for you, especially benefic planets like Venus, Jupiter, Mercury or Moon coming together in various combinations works excellently well for you. However, if malefic planets come together like either a Saturn, Rahu, or a Sun or Mars coming together, or a Ketu, Saturn, Mars or a Sun coming together, will be more troublemaking or more challenge bringing for you rather than the 4 benefic planets coming together. So one has to look at these entities in the horoscope, analyze them very well and utilize them to your advantage, because one thing is for sure, 4 planetary placements, because of the super energy that they carry, will do both. They will give you sudden impetus, sudden growth, sudden development, sudden gains, sudden elevation in your life, and they may also on the flip side may also bring a sudden downfall, sudden troubles, sudden obstacles, sudden issues in your life as well. So firstly, wherever the planetary placements are placed, look at whether they are more benefics involved or more malefics involved. If there are 2 malefics and 2 benefics, that means if Rahu and Saturn are together and Jupiter and Moon are together, then for example you have 3 yogas here. Jupiter and Moon give you a Gajkesari yoga, Saturn and Moon gives you a Vish yoga, Rahu and Saturn give you Shrapit dosha, and Rahu and Jupiter give you a Guru Chandal dosha. So now there are 4 yogas getting involved, then which one of the doshas will have a greater effect? Now it will be safe to say that the Shrapit dosha between Rahu and Saturn will be the strongest, followed by the Vish dosha between Saturn and Moon, and then the Guru Chandal dosha will be more stronger, and last will be the Gajkesari yoga. Why? Because Jupiter is a planet which is a wise bringing or wisdom bringing planet, and Rahu overpowers the energy of Jupiter, and that's why in a Guru Chandal dosha Rahu will have an upper hand over Jupiter rather than the other way around. So, and then because of the Vish dosha between Saturn and Moon, the Moon is not able to function very well, and so the Vish yoga clicks in. So that's why it's important that whenever you have a 4 planetary placement between 2 malefics and 2 benefics, one has to be extra careful how one reads or analyzes the 4 planetary combination, because the malefics will always have the upper hand. Now one thing which is important to see is that what is the combination which is in effect. For example, which are the planets which are closer to each other. So for example, if say Jupiter and Moon are at 8 and 9 degrees, whereas Rahu and Saturn are at 19 and 20 degrees, then the effect of Rahu and Saturn is very minimal or less on Jupiter and Moon. Then the Gajkesari yoga between Saturn and Moon will click in rather than the Guru Chandal dosha or the Vish yoga. However, Rahu and Saturn being closer, the Shrapit dosha is also in effect. However, because Jupiter and Moon are at lesser degrees, so then the Gajkesari yoga will have a slightly upper hand over the Shrapit dosha, but not completely, because the malefic energy is still very, very strong. So these combinations will also have to be looked in. If the four are very close to each other. For example, the moon is at 8 degrees, Jupiter is at 9 degrees, Rahu and Saturn are at say 14 and 15 degrees, then the malefics are too close to the benefics, then definitely the malefics will have an upper hand over benefics. Or if the malefics are lower in degree and the benefics are at higher degree, then too the malefics have an upper hand and they will be activated and they will showcase their results and demonstrate their results more often than the benefic planet. So these have to be critically looked in. A malefic which is placed between any two benefic will spoil the results of both the benefics and not allow either of the benefics to demonstrate or showcase their results to the extent that they can give. So it is always good that the benefics are closer to each other and there is no malefic in between. So for example, if moon is at 8 degrees, Saturn is at 10 degrees and then Jupiter is at 12 degrees, then the Vish dosha between moon and the Saturn is much stronger than the Gajakesari yoga between moon and Jupiter, because Saturn is scattering the energies of both moon as well as in Jupiter, and Jupiter is overpowered by Rahu because of the Guru Chandal yoga. So one has to look into which are the planetary placements which are close and which are the combinations which are happening more powerfully than the others. If excuse me, if there are more than 3 benefics involved in any 4 planetary combination, for example, if you have Jupiter, Moon and Venus together along with say for example Saturn, then obviously with more benefics being there, there will always be a stronger impact of benefics than Saturn. However, Saturn being a slow bringing or slowing down planet, it will slow down the benefic giving tendencies even of the 3 strong benefics involved together. The other thing is, if say for example Rahu gets involved with 3 benefics, so if Rahu is placed with Jupiter, Moon and Venus in a certain sign or in a certain house, then while in the house Rahu is most powerful, but Rahu has a very weak 7th aspect. However, these 3 benefics have a very strong 7th aspect, and by virtue of that, the 7th house or the house opposite the house in which these 4 planetary placements are placed, that will become very benefic or beneficent giving or good result bringing house, rather than in the house where the 4 planets are placed. So for example, if Rahu, Jupiter, Moon and Venus are placed in the Lagna, then the 7th house will be having a lot of benefic energy because of Jupiter, Moon and Venus's aspect on the 7th house, but Rahu doesn't have a strong 7th aspect but has a strong 5th and 9th aspect. So one will find in such a placement, the relationships will be very good for the person. He will gain a lot out of partnerships. He may get a very beautiful spouse. He may also have a very good committed spouse, loyal spouse who will take good care of the person, and the spouse will also bring in a lot of goodness, happiness, harmony and material gains to the native. However, by virtue of Rahu overpowering the other benefic planets in the Lagna, there will always be this urge and hunger and greed in the person to do much better in life and for a lot of material gains, rather than utilizing the softer aspects of Moon and Venus and Jupiter. However, 3 benefics are strong enough energies to overcome a little bit of the eclipse bringing energies of Rahu, and they will bring in goodness to the person. Now the challenge is when the dasha and antardasha of any one of the planet comes in, then the other planets also get activated. It is like this: if you have something which is boiling on a gas stove, and if you bring any other pot close to this pot, then by virtue of the other pot being very close to the pot which is on the fire, or the vessel which is on fire and the other vessel being brought close, the other vessel will feel some heat. Similarly, when the dasha of one planet is on or its antardasha is on, the other planets, by virtue of being very close to the planet, they will also get activated to an extent. So the best way to use this energy is find out which planet is under activation because of its dasha or antardasha is on, and then utilize the planet's energies to your advantage, whether in career or in business or in relationships. But if it's a malefic bringing planet, then increase the strength of the benefic giving planet which is placed with the planet with the malefic, and then through that reduce the malefic intent of the malefic bringing planet. For example, if Rahu is placed with Jupiter in a Guru Chandal dosha and Rahu's dasha is on, then Jupiter is also activated a little bit. Then increase the strength of Jupiter by indulging in activities of Jupiter. And for example, being more spiritual, reading religious manuscripts, involving yourself in matters of children because Jupiter is the Karaka of children, also visiting some spiritual places, donating to a religious institute or an educational institute, or teaching somebody or sponsoring a child's education. Doing all these activities will increase the benefic giving tendencies of the benefic planet and reduce the malefic intent of the malefic planet, because attitude and actions and karma overpower the most malefic of energies. So utilize these energies to your advantage. The second thing is, you can activate a benefic giving planet also by virtue of doing an activity in the line of what it constitutes. So for example, if there are 4 planets in the 4th house, so Rahu, Saturn, Moon and Jupiter are in the 4th house for example, and Rahu dasha is on, then you can increase the benefic giving tendencies of the other planets by, for example, Moon is also the natural ruler of the 4th house, then doing something in relation to the mother, serving the mother or buying something for the mother or spending time with the mother or seeking blessings of the mother will give you more strength to Moon and to the Gajakesari yoga that it forms with Jupiter, and reduce some malefic intent of Rahu. So doing these activities which are more sattvic activities, more serving activities, more ethically, morally ethical activities and goodness bringing, increasing the good part of karma, those activities will always help you increase the strength of the benefic planets and reduce the malefic intent of the malefic planets. However, sometimes you can use the malefic energies also to your advantage. For example, like I gave the example, if Saturn and Mars and Rahu are in conjunction, along with say for example Venus in the 2nd house, then you have a very strong Shrapit dosha and also very strong Angakaraka dosha there in the 2nd house. But the 2nd house is also related to food, and Venus also represents luxurious food, good quality of food, and Venus is also the natural ruler of the 2nd house. Then if you start something related to foods, related to fire and foods, for example a kitchen or a bakery or a restaurant, if you do something like that, or related to some luxury products which are used by women or by the opposite gender through a furnace or a foundry, then you can utilize even the malefic energies to your advantage. So one should see where the balance of energies is going. If the malefics are very strongly impacting a house, utilize all their energy in the direction of the house where you can use the creative energy to your advantage. So that is very important, how you analyze 4 planetary placements even if there are 3 or 4 malefics, because malefics have a very strong tendency to bring destruction. So what one should do when you are using most of the malefic energies to your advantage in destroying something or using all the energy to say use fire in the foundry or in a bakery or in a furnace, then you are using most of the energies of the malefics anyways. So their energy of trying to destroy a household and all is reduced. If you have Rahu, Saturn and Mars in the 2nd house and you are not doing anything related to utilizing the energies in a creative way, then they will create havoc in the house. They will create issues between you, your siblings, your parents. There will always be issues related to the house, court notices, some fire accidents, some or the other construction activity happening all the time, that will continuously happen. So one needs to be very careful. Also, if there are 3 or more malefics in the, say for example the 4th house, and the dasha of the planet is not on, then please don't activate any of the malefic planets by doing something related to the 4th house. So for example, if you have Jupiter, Saturn, Mars and Rahu for example in the 4th house, And if the dasha of Mercury is on and Mercury is placed in the 11th house, then Mercury will also try to bring you aspirations. If you buy a car during that time, then car is representative of the 4th house. 4th house is the house of material benefits. Then you will be automatically activating the other 4 planets in the 4th house as well, and so then you will create unnecessary issues in the house and domestic affairs and of all the houses which these 4 planets placed in the 4th house rule. So one needs to be careful how one approaches the energies of the 4 planetary placements. If there is an eclipse involved with Rahu and Sun, or Rahu and Moon, for example, or Ketu and Sun, and Ketu and Moon, then there will definitely be one big change which may bring in Ketu involved, which means there will be one big change which will be either for the benefit side or for the loss making side. Ketu always brings a big change in its dasha or antardasha, starting off with seeming loss. You look at that as a loss, but it's a life changing event that may happen. So whenever the Ketu dasha or antardasha is close upon you, especially with 4 planetary placements, then be very, very careful of which direction the change is happening. If it's a good change, allow the change to happen, but be prepared for the change. So if, for example, if Ketu is placed in the 4th house along with, say, for example, the Moon or Jupiter, then there is a high chance that there may be a change of residence or something related to residence which may happen. So you can trigger the change before the dasha comes in. So before the Ketu dasha or the antardasha comes, do something related to the house 3 or 4 months in advance. Change the house or do some construction in the house, buy some equipment for the house, or do some repair work in the house. So when you do that, then the change bringing, because the change has already more or less happened of the 4th house, Ketu's dasha or antardasha will not bring that kind of a malefic change which may be more destructive. So use the 4 planetary energies to your advantage by understanding the combination of energies, looking at which direction they are placed in, where they are pointing towards, and use it to your advantage even if more malefics are involved, and keep those destructive tendencies away from yourself. For example, in the 10th house, if there are 4 planetary placements, you will most of the time will be so busy, you won't be getting any time for yourself. You will have some of the other projects, some of the other meetings, some of the other travels, some of the other presentations you need to make, or data analysis that you need to make. You will not have any breathing space, and years and even decades may pass before you even realize that your whole life you have been working and you have not been able to do anything worthwhile. So be careful of where the 4 planetary placements are placed, because they will suck in all the energy in the matters of that house and not allow you to do anything else. If they are in the 12th house, then matters related to health, clinics, judiciary, police cases, foreign, all of these will be activated, and most of your life or energy will be going in these. So if there are 4 planetary placements in the 12th house, then see that you also do it something in line of the other houses and keep them activated, so that the energies of the 12th house are reduced. So understand the planetary placements, use them judiciously, keep them away from matters of personal life. So 4 planetary placements in the 2nd house, and the 4th house, and the 5th house and 7th house are more trouble bringing placements rather than in the 9th house or 10th, 11th or even 12th house. So if they are in these relationship or a personal life houses, like I said, in the 2nd, 4th or 5th of children, or 7th of relationship, then be extra careful. If they are in the lagna, throughout your life these planetary placements will keep getting activated and keep influencing your decisions, your reputation, how people see you, how your personality is shaped, how your health is shaped, and so then you have to be extra careful. In the 8th house, they will bring you sudden obstacles, sudden upheavals, but sudden opportunities also, and sudden things which may come by in terms of inheritance, in-laws being helpful, or you getting sudden gains from government, even in fact winning lotteries if it's in the 5th house, or speculation. But matters of children will also be activated. So friends, understand your 4 planetary placements, use them very well. Activate those which are benefic, reduce the energies of the malefic planets by donating items related to them, and then you will be better placed and better situated to be able to handle these energies well. So friend, this is my analysis of how 4 planetary placements may bring in results in your life. Please like this video, please share this video, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my new video is coming. If you are looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below in the description box. And till some other time, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.